American art is really defined for me by something that could only have been painted by an American artist, that has a really distinctive national flavor. The Peggy and David Rockefeller collection of American art is virtually encyclopedic, whether it's a work like Fairfield Porter's Schooner 2 of their beloved Maine, or works by artists such as Charles Sheeler, Georgia O'Keeffe, and then Edward Hopper, just to name a few. Many of the Rockefeller paintings seem to have had personal significance, and I think the paintings by Georgia O'Keeffe of New Mexico likely reminded David of the over 10,000-mile journey he took throughout the Southwest. Schooner 2 is really one of the most magnificent Fairfield Porters I've ever had the privilege of seeing. He abstracts the scene slightly. He's really delighting in the painterly surface, and he was quite influenced by the abstract expressionists, more specifically Willem de Kooning, and I think we see that in his freedom of expression with the paint. Milton Avery is one of the few artists that Peggy and David collected in depth, led by Woman with Rebozo. Interestingly, it's among the most contemporary works in Peggy and David Rockefeller's collection. The 1940s figurative work for Milton Avery really considered Avery at the height of his career. And what I love about this picture in particular, apart from obviously the very vibrant palette, is his incorporation of his own work hanging on the back of the door.
Painting over there.
Exactly. Yeah. He's also included a sculpture here, which I haven't seen as frequently.
I mean, it's so interesting to look at it in comparison to the Matisse, and then to even go sort of one step further to the de Kooning. You have these sort of amazing moments of color moving toward figuration, toward sort of pure abstraction, which feels like a theme throughout the collection. But the American sort of modernist works are really very landscape focused within this collection. I'm thinking, of course, of the Hopper and the Georgia O'Keeffes.
So this is New Mexico near Taos, which Georgia O'Keeffe painted in 1929.
I mean, it's immediately recognizable as that southwestern landscape, but it also has almost a fantastical or futuristic feel to it.
She was actually painting these mostly from a car window. The sensation we get in front of the painting is that we are almost on top of the mountain. And those undulating forms are almost anthropomorphized.
What's particularly interesting to me about de Kooning's Untitled No. 19 from 1982 is you have a painting by an artist at the very end of his career and a collector who was buying at the very end of his career as well. In many ways, de Kooning is the quintessential American artist, and it makes so much sense that this painting would be in the Rockefeller collection. De Kooning was born in the Netherlands and became a US citizen in 1962. He was, of course, looking at his European roots to create a visual language that was very uniquely his own. But of course, this idea of color and abstraction became increasingly important to him, particularly in the later years of his career. I can't think of another family who has had a more profound impact on this country's development, particularly in the 20th century. The Rockefeller family name is really synonymous with America.